Welcome to another edition of Just Another Sports Betting Podcast. The best name for a podcast about sports betting that, honestly, there's so many sports betting podcasts out there. How could this not be the best name? Because this field is so saturated, and we only added to it, Tommy.
I don't know if there is a sports betting podcast that is more adequately named than this one. It is literally just another sports betting podcast.
Yeah, I hear you. Okay, we're live on TikTok. We're live on YouTube. Okay, and we're gonna talk Thursday Night Football preview. We got some bets for tonight as well. You want to start with tonight's bets and then do Thursday Night Football?
Yeah, that's fine. I am taking the night off unless somebody in either the YouTube chat or the TikTok chat can sell me on a pick. I will take it, but I'm a broken man. I have been.
You also took Tua to go over 5.5 rushing yards on Monday.
Look, my mom told me that the Rams were going to win, and they didn't. So I'm having some trust issues too. I'm a broken man. What do you want me to do? Obviousshirts.com for Cody's hoodie, by the way.
Yeah, obviousshirts.com. Celine in the TikTok chat says, I need the hoodie, broken heart laughing emoji. You can get the hoodie at obviousshirts.com. The owner is a great guy. We're good friends. Johnson. Me and Tommy both. Great.
Tell him that Cody was wearing the sweatshirt that made you get the sweatshirt.
Yes. Okay. Well, if you don't have anything for tonight, for college basketball, and I feel really smart, and hopefully it plays out in my favor, but I took the under for Minnesota and North Texas at 131.5. It is down to 129 last I checked. And both teams are outside the top 300 in adjusted tempo. So they play slow.
Okay.
And they're both top 100 defenses in college basketball in terms of KenPom rankings. So I like the under in that game. As far as NBA, you want a Bulls play for tonight? Well, I'm not taking a Bull. However, if I was to take a Bull, I'd probably take Nikola Vucevic because he has gone over like everything all season. He is a cash cow to start the season. So if you want to bet on a Bull, I would bet on Nikola Vucevic, points, rebounds, something like that, because Karl Anthony Towns isn't exactly known for his defense. But
that's fair.
The Bulls make me sad. So I'm betting on a player for the Knicks, and that's Josh Hart. Over 28.5 points, rebounds, and assists. He's coming off a triple-double last night. And the Bulls are ranked 27th in points allowed to opposing shooting guards and like 28th in rebounds allowed to opposing shooting guards. They're bottom 10 in assists as well. It's just a great matchup on top of the fact that the Bulls don't play any defense, Tommy.
Yeah, I'm learning that the Bulls don't play any defense. But at the same time, Bulls are getting 7.5 tonight in New York.
They did cover against Cleveland the other day.
And then
the Hawks.
And the Knicks haven't looked like dominant like we were promised. So
and they're coming off a second of a back-to-back. I feel
like 7.5 is a big number. I mean, I feel like we should be hovering in the 4.5, 5 range here. Mm-hmm. I mean, the Bulls should not be favored by any means. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that 7.5, something's a little fishy here. So
well, I don't hate the play. I just betting on the Bulls when you're a fan of the Bulls is just not
terrible idea.
Fun. It's a terrible idea. Jay in the TikTok chat says Bulls play he's got is Zach LaVine over 23.5 points and assists and Vooch over 26.5 points and rebounds. Again, I love the Vooch play because he's just been a cash cow and you got to ride that wave as long as you can.
Yeah, and Zach is a game time decision, but it's looking like he is going to get the nod. So
we'll see. All right. I also like Anthony Edwards to bounce back. I took him last night, and he had a terrible game against the Trailblazers. And it's such a perfect matchup. The Trailblazers are 30th in points allowed to opposing shooting guards and rebounds. So I took him over 32.5 points and rebounds this morning. And I like Wemby to go over 12.5 rebounds today, too. The Wizards are one of the worst rebounding teams in the NBA. So give me Wemby on rebounds. Give me Anthony Edwards late night NBA action. Give me North Texas and Minnesota under, and give me Josh Hart on points, rebounds, and assists.
Sure. Yeah. I will have 3 TVs in motion tonight. I am going to watch the Bulls. And then I'm going to keep an eye on that UConn basketball game that starts at 6:00. I think UConn is going to make a run again this year. So I'm going to keep my eye on them. And then also I'm going to be watching the Pittsburgh Penguins taking on the Detroit Red Wings. Both teams have significantly underperformed to begin the year. This may be a loser leaves town situation with both teams having some veteran representation. There's been a little flurry of Sidney Crosby maybe getting traded to go after another cup. Something's happening. So if they lose this one,
I will let all gambling picks for hockey go straight to you.
I will not be gambling on that game tonight or any game tonight. As we have discussed, I'm a broken man. I'm just looking for a pick. Just one.
Well, Jay, like I said, Jay likes Levine 23.5 points and assists and Vooch 26.5 points and rebounds. You could ride with Jay. He also likes Anthony Edwards 32.5 points and rebounds like me.
He's got my attention with the Vooch pick, 26.5.
I do like Vooch. If we're going to pick a Bulls player, again, Vooch is a cash cow. All right. Can we get some likes in the TikTok live? We got 1 like. Can we get some likes in the TikTok live? I would appreciate it.
I can.
You can like when you're in it, my friend.
Also,
give Tommy a follow on TikTok. I'm trying to help him grow his TikTok account.
I have not made a video yet, but I do have a couple things that I have planned. So,
he's crafting up some stuff.
I'm cooking.
He's cooking. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's do Thursday Night Football. Commanders traveling to Lincoln Financial Field to play the NFC East leading Philadelphia Eagles. 3.5 points is the spread. 48.5 is the total, my friend. Let's start with who I like. We did this on Monday. We said that we all took the Rams, and then I said that the dog that I'm watching, if it like her barking is a sign, and what happened? The Dolphins won outright. All right. The dog started barking before we went live on YouTube. I'm just saying. But either way, I do like the Commanders to cover this 3.5. I think this is going to be a close game. I think they can win this game, but I'm also not sure if they will. That's why I'd rather take the points than the money line. But I think the Commanders are coming off blowing a game, honestly, to the Steelers. I think they bounce back. They have the opportunity to bounce back here against an Eagles team that realistically hasn't really played well at home this year. If you look at the Eagles' home games this year, like they almost blew a game to the Jags at home. They almost blew a game to the Jags at home. They beat the Browns 20-16 at home. And they lost by 1 to Atlanta at home. And their other technical home game was against Green Bay that they won, but that was actually in Brazil. This is the Eagles at their house. They have, to me, they have not played very well at their house this year. It's a divisional game. I think Dan Quinn is a better coach than Sirianni, personally. And yeah, I don't know. I also feel like the Eagles, they've kind of taken advantage of an easy schedule to this point. Yeah, they blew out the Cowboys. Cool. Again, they almost blew it to the Jags. The Jags stink. They blew out the Bengals, which we're learning isn't a very good team. They blew out the Giants, which obviously isn't a good team. They only won by 4 to the Browns, which doesn't make sense to me. But they got blown out by the Buccaneers, who I do think, even despite all these injuries, I still think the Buccaneers are better than the Eagles. That might be a hot take. You lost to the Falcons, but you did beat Green Bay week 1. So Green Bay is probably their best win. You look at the Commanders, obviously they've been the biggest surprise in all of the NFL this year. I think that they will be prepared to play a lot better game against the Eagles. Their pass defense has been pretty good, top 5 in the NFL this year. The big question is will they be able to stop the run with Saquon Barkley being one of the best running backs in football this year? That's the big question here. But I'm going to risk it with the Commanders, my friend.
Okay. As some of you may know, that Monday night I was begging for a pick, and who can you trust more than your own mother? So I texted her and I just simply said Dolphins or Rams, and she said Rams. And now I have trust issues. So I've decided to text her again. And I said Commanders or Eagles. No context, just Commanders or Eagles. Her response was, do you really want me to pick again after the last disaster? And I said, it's not how many times you fall down, it's how many times you get back up. And she immediately texted back with the emoji of the eagle. And then on top of that, she replied to that text and sent 2 emojis of the eagles because one wasn't enough. And she said, now there's more than one. So it is the Eagles.
Okay.
I will be taking the Commanders with you because I can't trust this woman to save my life. She is, I need back against the wall. I needed one pick. I just needed one pick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But heading into this game, I was leaning Philadelphia only because maybe recency bias of the Eagles have just been a good team over the last few years. The Commanders have not been a good team. Of course, now the Commanders have a quarterback. I would love to know what that is like. Jayden Daniels has been incredible right off the bat. He had some injury issues popping up, but he seems to be okay now. He was really tested, I'll say, against the Steelers this past week. Couldn't get it done, although he was going to have a chance to win that game if his off or defensive lineman didn't jump off sides to end the game. So he was going to have another chance, and we've seen him have a chance and get things done at the last second. So he's a really good quarterback. I think the Eagles know that they are 7-2. They sit at the top of the division. This game is probably one of the 2 matchups for them that is going to be for the division. Mm-hmm. So they know that they need this one. If I were the Eagles, I don't know what they're doing uniform wise, but I would make this a blackout situation and they're all blacks, get the crowd going. I lean Eagles just because I think this is the middle of the season where they kind of like, okay, we need to let people know that we are the Philadelphia Eagles again. Mm-hmm. But honestly, toss up 3.5 is a great number to make somebody make a decision here. So I did say I was going to go against my mom, but I'm not really going against my mom. I already had the Eagles. I'm going to stick with the Eagles. We're going to be different on this one, and then I'm going to lose again like a loser.
Well, I mean, I don't want you to feel like a loser, but I do feel really good about my pick here. So I'm taking the Commanders. Tommy's taking the Eagles. Let us know on TikTok or wherever you are watching us who you're taking tomorrow on Thursday Night Football. Jay says Saquon for rushing attempts. Thursday Night Football, I have Saquon Barkley, 18
and a half.
He has 18.5 passing tips, and Brian Robinson, 45.5 rushing. I mentioned the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in this, and a fan said that they can still make the playoffs. I agree. I do think they can. Listen, just to play devil's advocate, I will say that the Eagles don't have nearly as many injuries as the Commanders. Like Marshawn Lattimore is out again. He was traded before the trade deadline to the Commanders, and he's yet to suit up. He's not going to play in this game either.
Yep.
So
Crowder's still on the IR.
Mm-hmm. They do have some injuries that do give me some concerns, but at the same time, I will say that this is if they want to win the division, if they want to have a chance to win the division, I think the Commanders got to win this game. So
yeah.
And again, I didn't watch that game against the Steelers, but they led for a large majority of it, and so they kind of gave that game away. I think they need to bounce back here, and what better than on a short week to get it out of your head quickly of what happened.
Sure.
Yeah, give me the Commanders. You're going to take the Eagles, and we're going to see. Now, the total. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I don't know the Commanders situation. They did release a graphic 8 hours ago of them wearing all whites, and the Eagles are just going with their traditional forest green jerseys with white pants. So I believe this is just going to be a very basic, normal uniform matchup, which I think the Eagles uniforms are one of the best in football. So I feel better about my pick now. Not as good as I would have with the all black. I think that would have been a statement on a Thursday night division game, but so be it. I'll stick with the midnight green, whatever.
Fair enough. I am glad that they're not wearing the black ones. If they're wearing the black ones, I'd be a little afraid.
They would have gotten you a little bit, right?
They would have got me. I would have had to consider changing up. Okay. The total is 48.5. I mean, it's a primetime game. So I immediately want to go under here, but I don't feel great about it just because, again, the only thing that scares me about Philadelphia's offense is they run the ball 55% of the snaps. The Commanders are one of the worst run defenses in the NFL. So if the Eagles are able to run the ball all day, but not defend either themselves, then it could easily go over. And we've seen them just kind of have go through lapses during a game where they give up points. So that's what kind of scares me about the total going over. But in general, I think because it's a divisional game, these coaching staffs know each team pretty well. How big of a game it is, I think the defenses will come out and play their best game. And I don't know, I feel like the under is the play.
I like the under as well. All the points that you made, I feel the exact same. And I'm going to add one more. This is a divisional game in the NFC East. These teams are, when they get together, whether it's the Giants or the Eagles or whatever, not the Cowboys, of course, but the other ones, it's a tight game down to the wire. Defensive battle, especially when it's in a prime time situation, when they get the spotlight on the two teams that are playing. This is a standalone game for them. For all the reasons you said the under, I like the under, but additionally, two teams that know each other well, play each other 2 times a year, keep the score down, keep the defense, keep the offense out of the end zone, keep the defense on the field situation. I like the under as well.
Okay. Well, okay. Well, we're on something together, and we are against something. So we're 1-1 here. Player props. So Jay mentioned Saquon Barkley rushing attempts. I too am on Saquon Barkley on or over 18.5 rushing attempts.
Just give him the ball, man. Just give him the ball.
He's averaging 19 attempts per game, so that's why the line is at 18.5. But it did open at 17.5 and moved up to 18.5. Again, the Eagles run the ball 55% of the snaps. And he averages 19 attempts per game. So, and again, the Commanders are one of the worst run defenses in the NFL. As Bears fans, we got to watch some offense against them, and it was all from DeAndre Swift.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I like Saquon to continue his great season that he is having for the Eagles. I like him over 18.5 rushing attempts. The rushing line itself, man, it is skyrocketed. It was in like the 70s. Yeah. It is up to 95 now.
Yeah. I mean,
that is just too high for me, man.
This is exactly why the Eagles signed him. Is like, hey, we're going to run our offense through you. And unlike other teams who sign the guy and then don't really use them until they figure out it's working, and then they're like, oh, we need to get away from this. The Eagles are like, you're Saquon freaking Barkley. You're going to be the guy. You're going to be our guy. And they use him. So I like the rushing yards. Obviously, I like a touchdown. I am addicted to betting on Saquon 2 touchdowns, and it bites me every time. But I tried to find a different angle this week to see if I could find something else, that maybe a type of bet that we have not discussed before. And I think I found one. And I have 2 options. It's Saquon or it's Jalen Hurts. And it is the longest rush. Saquon is at 18.5, and Jalen is at 13.5. We just talked about how bad the Commanders' run defense is. The guy, it's when DeAndre Swift was running, it seemed like he had 7 yards up the field before he had to make a move or touch somebody. Saquon is one of the best at getting people off of him, and Jalen is one of the best at creating space for himself. Jalen is over 13.5 is even money right now on DraftKings. So that counts if it's a planned quarterback run play, or if he's dropping back and doesn't see anything, but he sees 15 yards of green grass and then he goes and gets it. So I think I'm leaning Jalen Hurts over 13.5 for his longest rush.
Okay. I'd feel safer with Saquon because, like, Jalen Hurts, like, you just look at his totals throughout the season. They're inconsistent. I've been burned by this because there have been times where I feel like he's going to for sure have a double-digit rushing attempt game, and then he doesn't. And it's just like, why not?
Sure.
And
sure.
I don't know. I just feel safer about it with Saquon than I do Jalen because he's going to get the attempts.
Yeah. I mean, I actually really like either one of these.
Mm.
Jalen, you get plus 100, and then Saquon is 18.5. It's minus 120. I'm seeing is the best line. So, I mean, it's not terrible odds. But yeah, I mean, Saquon, he can just shove anybody off of him and get an extra 10 yards on something. So I like both of them. I might take both of them separately.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm a broken man.
All right. Well, the only other play that I liked, and this is kind of a narrative-based bet, but Zach Ertz over 3.5 receptions. Now, the Eagles...
Revenge game.
Yeah, he used to play for the Eagles. But the Eagles have a really solid pass defense. But Ertz is second on the team in targets for the Commanders. And game script potentially says that the Commanders could be trailing most of this game. So they're going to have to pass the ball. I think it's going to be close either way, but I think the Eagles are going to load up on McLaurin, and that will allow Ertz to be open in the middle of the field. McLaurin's yards was 62.5. It's down to 59.5. I kind of like the under on McLaurin's receiving yards, honestly, but I don't like taking unders on player props. That's no fun.
Yeah, it's tough.
But yeah, give me Zach Ertz revenge game, 4 catches. I think he's gone over this total too in about 60% of his games. So I like Zach Ertz on 3.5 over 3.5 receptions.
I like that.
Okay. Now, I did on DraftKings, they have a Thursday Night Football same game parlay boost.
Okay.
So are you ready for it?
I've never been more ready in my entire life.
This is the Thursday night. This is the Thursday Night Football week. This is the Week 11 Thursday Night Football parlay that will absolutely hit if you lay in bed, stare at the ceiling, and send a few prayers.
Okay.
First,
wait, before you tell me what's in it, tell me what the odds are.
Plus 1,500.
Okay. All right. That's reasonable.
Okay. Oh, this is good for me.
Here we go.
She goes.
Here we go.
She's a barking. This is boding well for me.
Here we go, Jim.
Hey, go lay down. Hey.
Oh,
go lay down.
Fighting back a little bit.
It's because the male person's here, and every time the door slams, she just freaks that fuck out. Hey, stop. Don't growl at me. All right. Good Lord.
Wow.
Hey.
This is a statement.
Stop.
Now I'm starting to think I should switch to the Commanders.
Okay. Week 11 Thursday Night Football parlay. We start with the Commanders. Commanders +7 alternate line.
Okay. I like that.
And then we're going to also increase the total to 53, under 53.
I like that too.
All right. And then we're going to go ahead and throw in Saquon Barkley over 18.5 rushing attempts.
Okay.
And Zach Ertz over 3.5 receptions.
Okay.
It comes out to +1,000, but if you use the same game parlay boost on DraftKings, it comes out to +1,500.
I like it. That's something to keep you entertained and keep you watching the game for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Here we go. Let's ride tomorrow, folks. All right. That's all I have.
Yep. That's all I got too.
All right. Well, we'll be back tomorrow for college football. We got some big games this weekend to talk about. And we got to bounce back from last weekend. Last weekend was terrible.
I will never talk about how chalky a board looks again because we got obliterated by that.
Before we go, Jordo in the TikTok chat, he's asking, what about Bears bets? And I won't ask for your Bears bets, Tommy, but I have to ask you one simple question.
Okay.
Are you sick enough to bet the Bears on Sunday? With everything that's gone on, you fired our offensive coordinator. They've looked absolutely terrible the last 3 weeks, and they're playing Green Bay. Do you have the guts to bet the Bears on Sunday?
I'm going to tease you. I'm going to say, listen to the Through the Garden podcast where we're going to talk about it. It'll be released tomorrow morning. And we are going to discuss it again on Friday when we talk about our NFL picks. And you'll find out just how sick of a human I am.
Well, okay. The spread is 6 points.
It should not be. It should be 25.
It shouldn't be 6. That's all I know.
It should be 25.
So that's why I asked.
Yeah. No, I won't make you wait. No, the Bears are going to get rocked. And quite honestly, as a fan of the Bears, it's never been my type of way to be like, especially against the Packers. Like every Packers game in my life, I've made it like, why not today? You know, and I've hurt myself every single time almost.
Well, this time, haven't beat them in 6 years.
You know what I'm rooting for on Sunday? I am rooting for the Bears to put up a goose egg and get absolutely obliterated. I want everybody in the stands just booing the absolute crap out of Matt Eberflus. He's an idiot, and the whole McCaskey family's full of idiots, and I don't know how Virginia's still alive.
That last part, that one took a turn. That got real dark, to be honest.
Well, I mean, God bless her, but sell the team. Go away. Just go away.
Yeah.
The entire McCaskey family.
Yeah. I hear you. We'll talk more about it on Friday. That's when we do NFL bets. College football tomorrow. And again, tonight, the under between Minnesota and North Texas. And Josh Hart over 28.5 points, rebounds, assists. Wemby over 12.5 rebounds. And Anthony Edwards over 32.5 points and rebounds. That's tonight's plays.
Just go Bulls.
Go Bulls. And yeah, that's Thursday Night Football bets. We'll see y'all tomorrow here on YouTube.